I only use toe clip shoes here, and that's the style of shoe. And the clip is the little bit of metal that's been upturned at the front, and that just acts like an extra nail essentially. It just adds a bit of purchase to the shoe. So the heat will just melt the, well not melt, but it'll just soften the horn a little bit, that I can get at it with my knife and cut that clip in a bit. Like I say, the bits I deal with have already gone through keratinisation. There's no nucleus to the cell. It is essentially a dead cell, or a keratinised cell. It's the same material as your hair, this rind, you know, any horn you can think of. It's all keratin, skin keratin, things like that. So, yeah, like I say, the clip acts like a little bit of purchase. Acts like another nail. Driving horses in general tend to use toe clip shoes. And that's because you want the traction of the whole foot. Everything here is in toe clips. It's a driving style shoe. So every shoe has a job and a purpose. It's not just a case of chucking any shoe on any foot. Boy. Right, and then the back of the shoe. Just put the fan on, guys. Watch out. Just get some of this. So, the back of the shoe then has a mark, so I can see how well it fits his foot. Obviously, whilst I'm burning the shoe on, I'm using my eyes as well. And I can see that it fits. You have to make the shoe slightly bigger than the foot, because the foot is always growing. So, if the shoe fits perfectly, within 2 weeks it no longer fits. His foot's outgrown it. So they judge how well a shoe is fitted by how it looks at the end of the cycle. If it doesn't fit at the end of the cycle, it didn't fit at the start of the cycle. So you shoot for the last day of the cycle. You have to cover the foot for the whole duration. So you don't want it grown over, spread over, things like that. So, some nails. All the shoes are different sizes and all the nails are different sizes. Nelson's got quite small feet because he's, well, I say that, he's small for me, not small for most farriers. Your average farrier is fit shoes. I mean, every horse is different, they have different sized feet. That's quite an average sized shoe. You'll look at some of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you an idea of size. So Nelson here has small feet for me. For most of he's still quite big feet. He's probably got 16-inch feet. You know, a lot of people deal with 13-inch feet. It's a lot more to cover. Like I said, they get shod every 4 or 5 weeks, and that is strictly down to foot growth or shoe wear. If the shoe is worn out, it needs a new one. If the foot has outgrown it, it needs a new one. So I don't tend to change them because they've outgrown it. I shoe them for 5 or 6 weeks, and they usually get changed at 4 or 5. There's only certain places in a foot you can put nails safely, and that is the junction between sole and wall, and it's known as the white line. It's actually a yellow line, but whatever terminology. And that is a very small section here that runs around the perimeter of the foot. If I put my nails in here, I have a very sore horse and I'll find blood. If I put it into the wall will split, fall apart and break, and I'll have a damaged foot. So there's a limited place where I can put my nails safely. So check the fit again before I nail them on. I do use tungsten road pins, but not for traction. I bury them deep in the shoe and I use them to reduce shoe wear. horses tend to have a shoe with 7 nails, sorry. But most people go to see the horse every 6 weeks. I'm here every day. I can take more chances. When I get a loose shoe, I can just tighten it up, so I'm not too bothered. If it needs to have one less nail hole in its foot, which is one less area of weakness, one less area of activity to get in. So I tend to try and preserve as much foot as I can. I tend to try not to invade much at all as I can. If I can use an old nail hole, I will do. If it's good. If it's good horn. Yeah, so my nails are tipped so that they come out. Sometimes you'll just see me changing a tip on it slightly. I just creep it up the wall, hit it hard to make it come out. Just get it up a little bit higher than it was the first time. Just get the horn. Good one. It sounds loud, but if you think of the horse when they're trotting down the hill, down the road, it's not that much. So, yeah, so now the shoe's fitted, the nails have come out of the wall, I just fold them over, squeeze them into the wall and rasp it flush, and that's it. This bit is called clenching up. It's often the job of the apprentice. So a lot of people will dress the foot first before shoeing, which is kind of the bit that you see me do here now. I tend not to because I'm always trying to preserve the foot. I've done it long enough here and I know the shoeing cycle is that short that the least I do to these, the better they are at the end of the season. There's a lot of people you'll see hammering into feet to make them look pretty, which they do in the short term. In the long term it's very difficult. I've done it. So a lot of foot preservation through here. Thankfully all these behave very well. Down to their nature, to be honest. Leave it all over me, moisturised, right? So they've got all lotions and potions and things like that. Yeah, that's pretty much, it's one of the easier ones to shoe, to be honest. He's small, he's got quite easy, straightforward feet. You know, you get the likes of Ginger and Torrin up here, and you're at it for a long time. They've got much trickier feet. There's a lot of a genetic aspect to farrowing from the animal as well. So Torrin, I would say, has inherited poor genes for his feet. They tend to be like wet cardboard and fall apart. You have to be really careful how you shoe it. Once the feet start to break up, it is you chase your tail a lot trying to get them back right. So.
Seems to take it in turns to rest.
Yeah, so you'll see them rest one leg a lot. That's natural. They have. People say they sleep standing up, but they don't. They rest heavily standing up. Obviously, a deep sleep and REM sleep, they need to lie down. But they have evolved very clever things to do to allow them to rest standing up. So they lock the patella, the stifle. That locks the knee. That is a ligament that goes through to the hock. So if it locks here, it locks there, and it locks the leg. That means that there's no energy used to keep that leg straight. You can rest the other one. The front limbs have a similar setup, but it doesn't lock the same. It's more mechanical, the way they're stacked on top of each other. So he can rest with one leg off, 3 legs supporting his weight with literally no effort at all. They have increased amount of connective tissue in the muscles to allow for that to happen. So essentially, if there's a threat, he can rest heavily, but not REM sleep. But if there was a threat, he could snap out of it, kick it in the head and run away and be fine, in terms of evolution.
How do you measure the shoe?
So if I was to make the shoe, I would measure the length and the width, depending if it's a front or a hind. I would then add another couple of inches or 1.5 inches to allow for the bend. There's a few calculations. So length plus width plus 2 inches for the front. It's a big horse, maybe a little bit more. 1.5 inches for the hind. Then if you're going to fuller it, so he's in a 3/4 fullered shoe, which is one of these, which means there is a groove in it for 3/4 of the shoe. So if I was to make a 3/4 fullered shoe, I would subtract some steel because I'm going to stretch it with my fuller. So you change your calculations depending on the shoe you're making, size of the foot, shape of the feet, things like that. I tend to use factory shoes because it hurts to make them for these big guys. You know, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time, and it's actually more expensive to make them by the time we've had the gas running for that long and things like that. So we buy them; they're pretty cheap to buy, to be honest. 15 quid a pair or something like that. And then I modify a lot of them as well. So, you know, minor modifications. I'll just fuller it a bit longer, stretch it, widen it, things like that. So it's slightly too small, I need a bit more, I can just change them up a bit. So the need for shoemaking is less these days, because the factory shoes are so good.
What brought you into this line of work?
I did a degree in animal management and zoology. I trained horses. My mum's got a riding school, and her mum has a riding school in Harrogate. My mum has one over here. And then I was training horses, and I came back from Africa or New York, one of those places. And these guys rang me up and said, "We're looking to train someone to be a farrier. We're looking for someone to come train some horses." So I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
If anyone's interested to see the old setup, it's just down here on the right, the old wall.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you.